G'day guys, how are we? Welcome to Talking Boxing for another week. Hope your footy team had a win. I know mine didn't, which makes Mondays suck a little bit more, doesn't it really? But end of the day, it is what it is. I know in my case, the Blues had won 3 straight, so bound to lose one eventually. But hope you all had a good weekend. So as I said, welcome to Talking Boxing. This is the episode for you, or the show for you. So what we do here is I'll put the link up in a sec, and I want you guys to click the link, come on, have your say. We can talk about whatever you want to say. So I'll keep talking for now. I've got a lot of things to get through tonight, but as I said, I'll put the link up in a sec. Really want your feedback on a lot of different things, and the way the show is going to work going forward, or the way it will work, and hopefully be successful, is that you guys click the link, come on, and as I said, I'll keep talking for an hour or so. It doesn't really worry me, but it's all about interaction. I really want to get you guys on to have your say. It could be about any of the issues, whether it be Australian boxing or world boxing. It could be some of the things we've discussed on our boxing deep dive show. It could be some of the dream fights, whatever, or just some of the things that you guys want to talk about. So got a lot to get through. One thing I actually want to do before we get started, and I forgot to do it on our boxing deep dive show last Thursday. I just wanted to send my commiserations to the family of Mitchell Clark. Mitch was a very, very tough super middleweight / light heavyweight. Was unfortunately killed in a car accident a week or so ago. So as I said, I meant to mention it on our show last week, and I forgot all about it. So apologies for that. But I'd met Mitch a couple of times. I'd seen him fight many times, including against a good friend of mine, Jay Mitchell, who decisioned Mitch in a really, really tough fight back in 2015. I think who could forget his wars with Clint Alderton and Paul Watson and many others. So again, commiserations to Mocha and the boys from the gym down there, and rest in peace to Mitchell Clark. So all our best from the Boxing Deep Dive team. So I'm going to put the link up here now, if I can find it here. So I'm going to put it in the where are we? There we go. So it should be coming up there. You'll see there, it's just a restream link. Just click on it. You'll come into a waiting room, and I'll bring you on. So you're not going to come straight on, so don't worry. You'll go into a waiting room, and I'll bring you on when we're all ready to go. So as I said, it's really important that we have your input. I really want to hear a lot of the things that have been going on lately, especially on the Australian front. We've got Zarafa Harbin next week. We've had the Maloney boys on the weekend. We've got Nikita Zoo and Paul Gallen been announced as well. So their card, on main event. So there's so many things to talk about. Obviously, there's Spence and Ugas this weekend. Or Ugas, I think you pronounce it. But come on, I want to hear what you have to say, and let's talk boxing. Doesn't matter if it's something I pick. I want you to come on. It might be to have a crack at us about something or something I've said. And, as I said, come on. So the first thing I want to talk about tonight are the Wonder Twins, the Maloney boys. Jason and Andrew both had really good wins on the weekend. I was really happy with the opponents they chose. The matchmaker did a really, really good job because both of them, I don't think either of them had outstanding records. I think they both had 10 or 11 losses each, whatever it was. But sometimes it's not the losses you have, it's the fighters you fight. And I thought they were really good on the weekend, the boys. Before I get going, I want to show you one thing here. It's Andrew Maloney, who had the decision. I'll bring it up here. He beat Gilberto Mendoza, stopped him in the 8th round. And I want to bring up this. Hang on. I will bring him up here. If I can get him up. Yeah. All right. I want you to see this. How good is that photo? That's Andrew with little Lee there. Looks like he's actually had a bit of an accident there, little fella. He's got a cut on his forehead by the looks of things there. So I'm not sure what's happened there, whether he's tried to jump in the ring and imitate his dad. I'm not sure. But really, really good photo that is. And that's what boxing's all about. It was really good to see the footage or the telecast on the weekend actually put that on. It was really great. Great to see Chelsea there as well to make the trip over there. And I'm sure Georgia, who's Jason's partner, will be over there at some stage. I think the two kids are too little at the moment to probably travel, so I'm sure they'll be over there at some stage. But look, really professional and clinical fights, I thought, from the boys. Jason was on first. And I thought he probably settled into the fight a lot better than maybe Andy did. Andy looked like he was a little bit anxious, and that's understandable. He wants to make a statement. He's had those 3 disappointing fights over in the States against Franco, and we've talked about that in the past. Of course, he was comprehensively beaten, I think, in the first fight. Well, I won't say comprehensively, but I think he was beaten in the first fight. So unlucky. And I know we keep talking about it, the second fight with the jab in the eye. Who knows how the fight would have went? I'm not saying that Andrew would have definitely won, but the way he started, he looked really sharp. He obviously closed the eye, and I think they're still looking for the headbutt over there on the screens, and they can keep looking forever. They're not going to find it. So, but I thought Andy probably tried a little bit too hard early, then settled into the fight, and I think he was really conscious about, as in his own words, really making a statement over there. But those Mexican guys, mate, geez, they were tough. Really tough. And if you've seen the Maloney boys fight live, or even had the fortune of sharing the ring with them, you know what I'm talking about. These guys can punch. They're hard. They're tough. They never stop. They're relentless. And for those guys to last 8 and 10 rounds respectively with the guys, it was a credit to the guys over there. As I said, the matchmaker did a really good job. But yeah, it was a good card in general. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what's next for the boys. I think hopefully they'll both fight on the Cambosis card. We spoke about that last week. Not a given, because there's so many different promoters in the mix at the moment as far as being involved in the event. So it's not a formality that they'll be there. I know that with Top Rank, of course, but there's no guarantee that both guys will be on the card. So we'll see what happens there. I'll just stop sharing that there. So it remains to be seen there. I've got a feeling there's some big news about to drop with the boys. I've just got that feeling that speaking to people in the know, that Andy might be a little bit closer than Jason. I think we said last week that Nui and Inouye and Donaire are fighting again, so that probably throws a spanner in the works for Jason. But there's plenty of other big fights out there for him. But Andy's had 2 really good wins since the last loss to Franco. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if there's some big news coming about for Andy first, and then maybe Jason. Maybe I've got it wrong. I'm just guessing. No one's told me anything. I do speak to the boys online, and I know they're doing great things. But yeah, I really get on. It just makes sense, doesn't it, to have the boys on in Melbourne? It's going to be a massive show, probably the biggest event ever in Australian boxing. It's debatable. I still think Horn Pacquiao is probably bigger than Cambosis and Haney, but that's just my opinion. But either way, they've got a real opportunity to put on a stellar undercard for this one. I remember the Horn Pacquiao fight. It was okay. I think they had Shane Mosey Jr. on there, who got beat by an Aussie. Can't remember his name, but he had to retire. So I remember Brock Jarvis was on there, and I think they had a light flyweight world title fight as the main support. So it is what it is, but they've got a real good opportunity this time to really make a statement for this Melbourne event. Melbourne tends to do these events better than anyone else. I've got no doubt it'll be an unmissable event. So really crossing the fingers for the boys to get on, even if they're not in world title fights or big fights, they get on there. Top Rank have obviously shown in this case that there's plenty of good guys out there to bring out that the boys could fight. But being Melbourne guys, I know they would be itching to get on this card. So hopefully it all comes off for them. So that was Andrew and Jason Maloney. As I said, Jason beat Francisco Pedrosa Portillo was his official name. So that was a really tough 10-round decision. I probably gave the other guy maybe 1, if maybe 2, but best case 2. I think Jason won pretty well and just did what he had to do. I mean, he had been in the ring for 8 months. His last fight was against Joshua Greer. Had a really good win in that one. So to back up that one. Andy, of course, fought in December on the No Limit show, so he was probably a little bit more fresh, but I've got no doubt that he'll be better again for the run next time. Triple G, of course, fought on the weekend on Saturday night. I'm not sure whether you caught it on DAZN. The DAZN thing, I don't know. I've got this on my talking point for Thursday. I don't know. I know it's $2.99, so beggars can't be choosers, but I don't know what you guys think, but I don't know. The coverage is pretty piss poor, if you ask me. Look, it was pretty obvious the announcers were in a studio or somewhere back in England or wherever it was, or America, where I can't remember whether they were English or American, to be honest. But it really took away the atmosphere of the fight. I don't know. As I said, it's $3 a month, so you can't complain. But I don't know. I just the whole DAZN thing. None of the shows have really hit the mark for me. I just don't think. I think this is pretty lackluster. I just think it's great that there's a streaming platform out there that will do these fights, but geez, bring back any day the days of HBO and a few of the others that put on these pay-per-views, and I don't know. It's just maybe I'm again overreacting. It's again $3 a month, and they've been doing some pretty good things, but I just think the choice they've made for the commentators and their hosts and everything else, they've just really not hit the mark. I'm pretty sure they're English based. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, as I said, I just haven't really got into it. The fight itself, I thought Triple G did enough, obviously, to get the win. He stopped him, I think, in the 9th round. I must admit, between me and you, though, that I thought the Triple G was probably on the verge of, well, after the first 4 or 5 rounds, I thought he was going to get beat. I really did. I thought Murata started really well. His game plan was on point. He stood center ring. He didn't allow Triple G to back him up, which is where Triple G is at his most effective. And I thought that there was a really good plan to stand in the center of the ring, be poised, be composed, don't get excited. Probably a little bit like Canelo fought in the second time, I think, and really didn't allow Triple G to dominate, because that's when he is best. And to back Triple G up, you can tell that's when he's at his most vulnerable. And I thought Murata did really, really well. I probably gave him 3 of the first 4 rounds, I think it was. I thought Triple G started to come on in the 5th round, and from there he just bulldozed. And I know it's probably easier said than done, of course, against Triple G to say you should stand center of the ring and push him back. But I'm a little bit worried that if he fights Canelo again, he could be in a bit of trouble. I think Canelo has improved a lot in the 4 years or 3.5 years since they last fought, and I just think that Canelo will be way too strong. Youthful, I suppose you'd call it. He just looked old, Triple G. I know he hasn't been in there for 15 months, but he just looked old. He literally did look old. And, maybe I'm reading too much into it. Maybe, I think we did actually comment about this on the show last week, that it'll go 2 ways. You'll get the Triple G that's nice and refreshed and ready to go, and will be all set to make a statement against the younger Murata, or we'll get what we did get, I think, is the faded version of Triple G, where the time off really didn't do him any favours. So maybe, as I said, maybe I'm wrong, but I think that if they fight again, Canelo will do the job more comprehensive this time. They always say, some of these old fighters have got one more left in them. What remains to be seen. The one given, though, is that when they do fight, it'll be a pay-per-view monster. Vegas will be, I'm assuming it'll be in Vegas, it will be pumping, it'll all be happening again. They'll make a ton of money out of it, so good luck to them. It is a business after all, but for me, based on what I saw the other night on DAZN, I think Canelo takes that one pretty easy. The other one on the weekend was Ryan Garcia. Yeah, he looked pretty impressive. He beat Targo from, I think it was Ghana, I think he was from. Yeah, he was tough. Garcia hadn't been in there for quite some time as well. I'm still not seeing where it's going to come from. His assault on the lightweight division. Can't see where the improvement's going to come from. I know he's only young and hasn't been in there for a while, but yeah, I don't know. He just did enough to win, but remains to be seen with that. On to the Aussie stuff, the Breedis and Opetaia fight has been postponed, which is a bit of a shame. Jai's had shocking luck with injury. Initially it was Breedis, of course, had COVID, and Opetaia was ready to go, and then this one, Jai's had the rib injury. It's just a real shame. It's a shame for all concerned, for the promoters, obviously for the fighters, for the fans. But look, hopefully it'll go ahead. The only thing that worries me, the more these fights get postponed, the more chance we have that something will happen, the fight will fall over. Breeders might go into something else, or you just don't know. But I'm really hoping that one comes off. I'm thinking it's looking June 23 at this stage, I think. Don't quote me on it. I haven't got it in front of me, but it'll be sometime in June. Pretty good day. The undercard will sort of still go ahead. Justice Honey will fight Joseph Goodall, which will be really good, I think. Honey was supposed to fight the Kiwi on this undercard, but they've scrapped that. And now they're going to bring forward this fight with Goodall. So, yeah, we're really looking forward to it. Joseph Goodall can fight, and he'll give Justice Honey all he can handle. Having said that, I don't think that the Honey camp would have taken this fight if they had seen Goodall as a real threat, because obviously they're looking at the bigger scene or the bigger picture. But I think that's going to be a tough fight for Justice. And one thing I will give credit to the whole Honey team, and that's the same model they've had with Jeff Horn and Jaya Patai. They haven't given them easy fights. They've given a really good mix of opponents in the lead up to the world title fight. So when they get a title fight, they just don't fight for it. They're in a position to win it. So good luck to that. And Stuart Duncan is the matchmaker again, and he he's done to win this fight. So we'll see what happens there. But I'm pretty sure it's June 23. Again, don't quote me on it. I'd have to look it up, but I think that's where they're looking at the moment. Now, I've had a couple of people ask me why we didn't have the Road to Zarafa on the episode last Thursday. Let's just say my plans for Zarafa Hardman was to have both guys on this week, or even early next week. Well, we're about 9 days, so it's supposed to be this week. I wanted to get both guys on and have a live interview together. I just said, look, I can understand that's not possible. This soon, or this close to the fight, sorry, I could probably understand that both of them just want to not in each other's space and just do their thing, and that's fine. But I really wanted to have a head down a few weeks ago, but there was a lot going on. They were on all sorts of social media channels or whatever. So I thought I'd wait and do it the week out. We're planning to do a live show next Tuesday. We still might do that. I think we will. But I actually sent a message to Michael Zarafa about it, and I didn't get a response. And if you know Michael, it's not like him. He is very punctual in getting back to people. He loves getting on the podcast. I've heard him on before, obviously, on the show. I've interviewed him many times, promoted him many times. He didn't return my message. So I don't know whether myself or someone on the shows said something to upset Michael, but he didn't return my message, which is, as I said, very, very unlike Michael. So I'm not going to read too much into it because who knows, he might have missed it. It's not like him to do that, of course. But the one thing I will say, if it is the case, one thing I will say about our shows is that we are not reporters. We don't pretend to be reporters. We're not we are a news outlet, but we're not pretending to be reporters. There's a lot of social media sites out there that, let's just say, are user-friendly. They'll put nice, cushy, friendly stories up on their social media accounts. I'll interview these guys and ask them nice, friendly questions, and they'll get comments on the shows, and they'll play it safe. In the cricket terms, they'll play it straight back, because they need these guys to come back on the show, because without them, they're irrelevant, let's face it. Our show is 100% or 180 to that different. We don't rely on interviews. We rely on the knowledge and, I suppose, expertise of our panel. I think we've got a really good mix of guys that come on the show, all very, very experienced in different ways in the sport. And I made a conscious decision not to go down the route where we are just relying on interviews. We're skimming over the surface of different things and just, as I said, playing it safe. And we won't do that. If we want to say something on the shows, well, I'm not going to hold back because we might offend somebody. So I hope that's not the case with Michael. I'm not just pointing out him here, but make no mistake, I'd rather have 500 people that really love watching our channel rather than 5,000 people that get on and just want to see a nice, safe channel. And look, there's a lot of people out there that haven't really got a boxing background but love boxing. They've got their own sites, and that's great. That's awesome. That's really good. We need those people out there. But as I said, I don't pretend to be a reporter. I don't want to be a reporter, which is why we've gone away from that interview thing. But if we're going to have our say on these subjects, this is where you guys come into. We want to have our say. We're going to have our say. And if that upsets people, well, so be it. And if you don't want to come on and return calls or messages or tell me to go get stuffed, well, I can live with that. But I'm not going to sugarcoat things and not have my say and have to put the opinions up of myself and my co-hosts, just so we don't offend some of the fighters out there or trainers or whoever. And if you've seen this channel in the last few weeks, we've had a crack at Ebony Bridges about her language. We don't care. We don't want to obviously upset these guys and get them offside. Don't get me wrong. We want to keep everyone happy, but we do this because we're fans and we want to actually have our say. And want you guys to have your say. And as I said, if that offends boxers, trainers, managers, promoters, whatever, then I'm happy to live with that. But that's why Michael wasn't on, because he didn't return my message. And, so I sort of felt inclined not to pump the show up or the event up, which is what we've been doing. If you've been watching for the last probably 10 or 12 weeks, we've had the Road to Zarafa on every single week. and we've given them plenty of airtime. We've put up as much footage and coverage as we can to try and promote the. And for whatever reason, Michael decided not to get back to me yesterday. So hopefully I'm reading, or not reading too much into it. Hopefully he just didn't send my message, but whatever. I'm sure Isaac would have come on in a heartbeat and wouldn't have been any problem. So that's why there was no road to Zaraffa and Harbin. However, having said that, next week on the Tuesday night, I would love to get a few of the guys on that regularly are on the show, and maybe a few others to come on and give their predictions of the fight. The weigh-in will be that day, so we'll have some footage and a little bit to talk about that as well. But as I said, look, we're not out to be nice and warm and fuzzy like a lot of the other sites out there. We're here to talk boxing and have our say. And I'm not going to hold back, as I said, just so we don't offend someone out there. So there you go. That's why we didn't have it. I mentioned earlier, Nikita Tszyu, Paul Gallen. That event is going to be a main event pay-per-view on May the 11th. Look, in my opinion, it's not worthy of a pay-per-view event. I think it's great to be on Fox, of course, both big names in the sport. But to pay $50 or $60 to watch Paul Gallen fight, and he is fighting, I'll bring it up here. He is fighting, if I can see it, May the 11th. He's fighting Chris Tuzowski, if I've got that right. 10-1. He's from Melbourne. He's obviously going in there with 5 weeks' notice. Nikita's fighting Mason Smith. Look, good fights. Definitely tuning in. I just don't think they're pay-per-view worthy, but I have had an explanation since then that apparently the Opetaya and Breeders fight was booked in for that date. That date fell over, so main event needed a pay-per-view, so they've gone to No Limit and they've got Paul Gallen involved. So that obviously makes sense. But paying $60, I don't think I'll be paying for it. I might be relying on someone else to provide some footage of that one. But yeah, it should be good. So I think after this fight, I think Tassie's pretty hopeful that his guy, Bo Belbin, might get a shot at Nikita. So let's hope so. I'm really liking what they're doing, Nikita. They're not sort of sugarcoating his fights. They got the first one out the road. That was probably a little bit different. But now they're starting to step it up. Mason Smith is 5-0. So he's a good young guy, again, from Melbourne. He's had 2 KOs. The guys he's beat probably haven't been world beaters, but you got to, again, like all fighters, you got to start somewhere, and he'll give Nikita a tough fight, no doubt. I've got no doubt that Bo Belbin will give Nikita a good fight after this one. He's got 2 fights planned, so a couple to get through, and hopefully they'll fight in I think it's August. I think they're going to look at fighting, so we'll see how that one goes. And also with another No Limit fighter, or Glenn Jennings fighter, Shannon O'Connell. There's a little bit going on with her as well, so stay tuned for some big news with Shannon. I won't discuss what it is at the moment, but I've got good word that she's got some really good news as well coming up. So stay tuned with Shannon O'Connell. I'm sure they'll announce it in due course. And on that card too, just getting back to the May 11 show, I'm pretty sure Jade Mitchell might be on that one as well. He obviously had to pull out because he had COVID. So hopefully he'll fight, I think it was Tyson Turner, but Tyson Turner is actually scheduled to fight again, I think. When's he scheduled to fight? I did see his name on Boxing. I'm going to go through this soon. 18th of June. So maybe that's not going to happen now, but we'll see. But we'll see what happens there. So Jade, you'll be on that one, and I'm not sure the rest of the card at the moment, but I'm sure they'll stack it as they always do. The other one, some more news on the weekend. Spence and Ugas are fighting. I think it's $30 on main event, so check that one out. Just before I keep going on there, the link should be in there, so make sure you log on there. What have we got there? So that's I've still got the link up there. So come on again. Happy to hear what you have to say about Errol Spence and Ugas this week. I think Errol Spence has got way too much for Ugas. I think he'll win quite comfortably. I think he'll either win by late stoppage or by. But we'll see what happens there. And it's got to happen with Spence, doesn't it? With Crawford. You would think that fight will happen after this. Hopefully all the promotional bullshit will get out the road and we can get a fight on here. I think it's probably the biggest welterweight fight since, I would think, welterweight, obviously it's got to be Manny and Floyd, I suppose, wouldn't it? So we'll see what happens there. The other fights coming up I wanted to talk about is an Inouye and Donaire. I mentioned it just before when we were talking about Jason Maloney. Should be a really fight, that one as well. I think Inouye will do it. Inouye will do it a little bit easier than last time. I think Donaire's a year or two older, so I think Inouye will get the fight there, but we'll see what happens. It should be good. So plenty going on there. Some talking points last week. We had a little bit comment on. It'd be interesting to hear what you have to say, whether you think the Haney and Kambosos fight will be a bigger event than Horn and Pacquiao. I said earlier that I think Horn Pacquiao. You got to go back to who we got here. I think go back to 2017. There's 51,000 there. Who we got there? I think that's Andrew. Not sure he's going to come. Andrew, can you hear us there? You got to give permission to your microphone and camera there, Andrew, if you're listening. So I'm not sure. Yeah, you've got to give permission there, buddy. So I'm not sure you can hear us there. But if not, just put a question in there. I'll be happy to answer it. But I'll give it another try there. But no, we're not getting anything from Andrew. Sorry, mate. I can't hear you or see you. But thanks for trying anyway. So send a question in there. So as I said, it was 2007, 51,000 there. I reckon I'll get about the same this time for Kambosos and Haney. One thing mentioned this on the show last week, that I've got no doubt that judging by the press conference that this will be a Melburnians come out and support, or Victorians come out and support these events like no other. So I've got no doubt it will be an unbelievably massive event. They're just coming off the Grand Prix on the weekend, show they can do it. Nearly 500,000 people there went to the show. Hang on, we'll give Andrew another crack here. Just got to allow access to your phone and camera there. Andrew, I've got your little logo here, but we can't hear you or see you. Send your question though, mate. I'll hang on. Tara there, I think. Hang on. I'm assuming you want to come on there. Hello.
I just wanted to check if it was working.
Oh, it's working. So you just got to press camera and microphone, I gather.
Yeah. I had to go through Safari though. I didn't use Google. I used Safari.
Yeah, I'm getting another message here that people can't get on. So go through Safari. This is an Apple-based thing. So go through Safari if that works. There you go. It does work. All right. That's Tara testing the stream. So Andrew. There's Eddie Montalvo. There he is. A great friend of ours is Eddie. Thanks, Eddie. This is sort of a podcast. We obviously do our weekly ones on a Thursday that we record and then put out the next day. But Eddie, if you don't know, is a massive name over in American boxing, world boxing. He's big on the world scene. Lucky enough to have a bit to do with Eddie a few years back with Shannon O'Connell. We went over to America. We were based in Brooklyn for a week or so, and then we went up to Canada. Eddie got us a fight with Shannon against Sandy Zagoras, I think it is. And if you haven't seen it, make sure you check it out on YouTube, because I think it's the best female fight I've ever seen. Eddie, what are you saying there? Yep. Miss you too, Eddie. We actually had Eddie over as a guest for our first ever show. It was Shannon when she fought, who was it? Diana Cordero, I think her name was. Unfortunately, it ended after 3 rounds. Shannon got a massive cut on her eye. It was a accidental headbutt. But Eddie lined that fight up, got us the fight with Diana, and it would have been an awesome fight. Had everything, that fight. But as I said, the fight that we had in Canada, as I said, if you haven't seen it on YouTube, make sure you get on and see it, because it was a fight that, as I said, I think it was the best female fight I've ever seen. Shannon dropped her, one of the best right hands you'll ever see. Sandy got up, took it, and they just went to war for 8 rounds. I remember Shannon had a cut right down the middle here. It was about an inch long, and couldn't see. She was busted up. Her hair, which is, if you've seen, is not naturally blonde. Well, it was red or pink. it was pretty crazy. So Eddie, mate, really miss you too, mate. Doing great things over there in the female scene. We also know that he was one of the best friends of Hector Camacho back in the day. And what do we got there? Hang on, he's giving me a bit of a. I didn't know you made it happen together, Tara. Thanks, Eddie. Really appreciate that, mate. They're kind words. But yeah, Eddie came out for our first show, and yeah, it was great. It was in Bendigo in Victoria. It was my first crack at being a promoter, first of about 25 shows that we did. Who knows what might happen going forward? But as I said, Eddie was a great friend, still a great friend, of course, but he was also a really good friend of Hector Camacho. He's got plenty of stories to tell. It was great just to listen to him when he was here, when we were over there as well. So big shout out to Eddie. Hope you're doing well over there, mate. And I'm actually going to be over your neck of the woods in June for the International Boxing Hall of Fame. So I'm not sure how close you are to New York City at the moment, but I'll be there. I'm going to be in New York City, down in Manhattan for 4 days, I think it is, and then I'm going to head up to Canastota in New York. And thanks, Eddie. Talk soon, mate. And thanks for tuning in. I'm not quite sure what time it is over there, but I'm assuming it's very late. So thanks, Eddie. And as I said, I'm looking forward to maybe catching up when I'm in New York from June 6th to 10th, I think, or 8th, I think it is. Sorry, 5th and 8th, whatever. So there it is. So thanks, Eddie, and we'll catch up soon. So that's Eddie Montalvo. So again, so we'll move on. Let's get on to some fights that are happening in the hang on, let's see, about 5:30 a.m. Geez, Eddie, get some sleep, mate. Holy shit, 5:30 a.m. So go back to bed. All right, let's get into the box rec. So this weekend we've got a big show. We've got Jason Waitley up against Savaneka Naliva. That's on the Tasman Fighters card. So that's up in Queensland, Fortitude Valley. Dana Coolwell up against Ender Luces. Really looking forward to that one. Ben Kite, Ben Horn, which will be really, really good. That one, tough fight. That's over 10 rounds. Another 10 round there for the Australian Super Bantamweight title. Liam Pope, 3-0 against Eric Sokolov, who's also 3-0. So that'll be a ripper. And also this one, I think Pete was saying this one will be a really good one. Jerome Pampaloni against Lucas Miller. Pampaloni is 10-0 against Miller, who's 8-4-2. And Andre Mikhailovich, 16-0, coming up against King Davison, who's 20-3. So that looks like a really, really good card. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 10-rounders and an 8-rounder there. So it should be a pretty big night. Eddie, yep. Yes, he is a very good fighter. He's Liam. What have we got there? I'm not sure who we've got here. It's another blank. Oh, who we got there? Hello? Not sure who we've got there. G'day, buddy. Can you see us? You're on. You're on mute there, mate. So you might want to turn your microphone on. But you're on. That's the main thing. So I'm not sure you're on mute there, mate. So let's see if I can help you there. Where are we? Yep. Mate, I hear what you're saying, unfortunately. That's Andrew, sorry. Yeah, Andrew's on. I can't hear what you're saying, Andrew. You've got the video on, but I can't hear you. Sorry. So exit out. See if you can just click the but we're halfway there. That's the main thing, Andrew. All right. Okay. Well, we'll come back to Andrew. You're still on there, mate, but I'll just need you to do something about your microphone. You're muted there. Sorry. So see what you can do. Keep trying. Good stuff, buddy. We'll keep at it. All right, guys. So on to this week. Don't miss it. Fox Sports, Wednesday night, April 13th. As I said, Coolwell and Luces with Waitley, Naliva, Ben Kite, Ben Horn, Eric Sokolov, Liam Pope over 10 rounds of 3-0, both of them. Next week, as I said, the big one. What a massive card that'll be. Sam Labruna fight night, Michael Zarafa, Isaac Harmon. How long have we been looking forward to this one for? I'll get Andrew back on. Can you hear us there, Andrew? No, can't hear you, buddy. You're still on mute. Sorry. Keep trying. I'll keep having a crack there. On the undercard, Shanika Johnson fighting Melissa Esquivel for the IBF World Female Super Bantamweight title. Johnson's 13-1 against Esquivel is 12-2-1. So ripper there. Benjamin Bomber. Got big raps on this kid they have. 3-0 coming up against Wawit Nari Rook, if I pronounce that right. So that should be a good one. Jack Gipp, really good kid, this guy. I think he'll be one to watch in the future. He's 4-0 coming against, I can't pronounce that name there, Thea Sinam, who's 15-8. So a big step up there. Looking forward to the girls' fight. Carly Salmon, 1-0 against Christina Mousy Jacobs, 5-2. Should be a ripper as well. What are we going there? So I'm not sure, Andrew, whether he's still with us, but no, he's going to try again. We'll get there. All right, another kid on that card, really keen to see more of. Campbell Somerville up against Ben Holdsworth. We saw Campbell was actually on my show a couple of years ago, made his pro debut. Seems like a lifetime ago now. But Campbell, really good kid. He's fighting Ben Holdsworth, is making his debut. So that should be good. Really looking forward to seeing him again. He had some injury problems. He's had a couple of operations, I think, then. So it'd be great to have him back. What else we got? 22nd of April, we've got a show there in Adamstown, New South Wales. Aaron Coco, Dane Elch. I'm not sure who's doing that one. Some of the other shows coming up. Stevie Spark, Blake Minto, 7th of May, up at the Royal International Convention Centre in Queensland. I would say that is an ace boxing show. Always puts on awesome shows. Ben Kelleher fighting Peter Salsui. They only fought, I think, a month or so ago, so they're going to go at it again. Really, really entertaining fight that will be. Benjamin Hussein, 4-1, will fight Joel Pavlidis, who's 2-1. If you haven't seen Benjamin Hussein fight, you would. I'm not sure whether you've seen. He had the broken jaw. Talk about it. He fought, I think, 3 or 4 rounds with his jaw pretty much snapped in half. So unbelievable there. Got a few coming up. The 14th of May, Gold Coast Croatian Club. Looks like DD Hobbs will be going at it up there. 21st of May, there's a Melbourne Pavilion show. Looks like big time boxing. Kane Watts makes his return. Good fighters on the undercard. David Drapic, Lockie Higgins, Willis Meehan. Now, he's the guy that we want to watch to see fight Justice Honey down the track, because that will be an absolute barn burner for that. That will probably be a pay-per-view. I think they'll wait until that probably cooks a little bit or simmers on that one to get that fight going. Who else we got there? Mason Smith slated to fight again. Not sure he will be fighting. Obviously, he's on against Nikita. Georgie Payne, 4-2. He's on the comeback trail. Should be a good one to watch. Bo Balbin, Tassie's boy, will fight Frederick Chand over 4 rounds. So then another one, the end of the month, 28th of May, Matt Sheen back against Mitchell Whitelaw. That'll be a good fight. Be a really good fight. Promoted Matt a few times. Mitchell Whitelaw as well a couple of times. Should be a really good fight. Sam Solomon's back, fighting Troy O'Malley. Not sure I want to see Sam fighting again, but again, it's a free country, so good luck to him. Sam Abdul Rahim, the Punisher, 5-0 against Victor Oganov, 32-10. That'll be a good fight, actually, because Victor's way past his best, but still very, very tough, and will give him a really good fight. Some other guys on that card, Jake Clegg, I remember him as an amateur, showed a bit as well. So, and of course, we go into the big one, the 5th of June, George Kambosos Jr., Devin Haney. Again, I'm interested to see who you guys want to see on the undercard. I've heard lots of different stories at the moment about who's going to be on there. As I said earlier, I think the Maloney boys you would think are like Paul Fleming, I think will be on as well. Terry Nicholas will be on the card as well. And then you could throw many names up in the air. So we'll just see what happens with that one. But what an event that will be. So what else we got? Got some fights coming up this weekend. Conor Benn up against Chris Van Heerden. I actually was fortunate enough to meet Chris Van Heerden on the Shannon O'Connell card that we fought, as I mentioned before, when she fought Sandy Zagoras in Toronto. So that was he fought. I can't remember who he might have fought. Errol Spence from memory, because Errol Spence fought on that card as well. Just while we're going there, I might bring that up and see if I can find Errol Spence. So I'm pretty sure he fought Chris. Where are we? That's not Errol Spence I'm after. Errol Spence Jr. So back in 2015, yeah, he did. that was the card. He fought Errol Spence, Chris Van Heerden. So on that card, by the way, Donna Stevenson was the main event. He fought Tommy Carpensy. Errol Spence fought Chris Van Heerden on the undercard. Sandy Zagura, Shannon O'Connell. Razor Ruddock fought on the card as well. And unfortunately, there was a really good young fighter on that card named Pritchard Colin, who fought, knocked out Vivian Harris on that card, was 15-0. After this fight, he had one more fight, I think, against Terrell Williams, and unfortunately suffered brain injuries and never fought again. And that's why in this game, it's anything can happen. And I know he's doing a little bit better. Eddie, you there, mate? Yep. Yep, your nephew. I'm sorry I didn't know that. That was a really unfortunate result. He was a very, very good young up-and-coming fighter. As I said, he was 15-0. And unfortunately suffered a head injury and will never fight again. So that is boxing. You know, we love boxing, the highs and lows. Eddie, thanks, mate. He's coming along nicely. That's really good to know. I do see the social media posts with Pritchard on there as well. So I'm really glad he's doing well, mate, because he really shame about what happened. But as I said, that is the flip side of boxing. We all love boxing. We love everything about it, but unfortunately it has the dark side, and this is the dangers that we face. And unfortunately Pritchard was one of the unlucky ones that suffered the the bad side of this sport. So yeah, so there it is. Eddie, superstar in the making. Yes. So I might actually put up on our other page that a link to a bit of a YouTube of Pritchard. He was a very, very good fighter, had big raps on him. So if you want to check that out, make sure you do. So thanks, Eddie. I thought I told you to go back to bed. Really appreciate you watching, by the way, mate. At what is it, 5:20 in the morning over there in America. So guys, again, if you want to come on and have a little bit to say, I'm going to copy the link again. I'm going to put it in for you. I know a lot of people get a little bit gun shy about actually coming on these types of shows. I assure you, it's not easy to sit up here myself for an hour and talk. I don't mind doing it because I love talking boxing, but it'd be a hell of a lot better if we had some people to actually talk to. And we've got Andrew trying to come on, so unfortunately we can't get to go. We're halfway there, Andrew. So, but if you've got something to say, just put a comment up and I'll be sure to answer it. Anything that you guys want to talk about. I've had a lot of feedback actually on the rest of our show that we do on the Boxing Deep Dive channel. So make sure you check us out. We do the Classic Fights, comes out every Wednesday. We do the Dream Fights, it gets recorded on the same night, but it comes out the following Monday. Really had a lot of good feedback about it all, and the Dream Fights, they've been really well. Actually, what have we got there, Eddie? Looks like we've got a link to, I'm not sure whether you can actually click on it and get to it there. But the Dream Fights have been awesome. We've had all sorts of comments. We actually had one the other week. I think it was Costa Zoo versus Manny Pacquiao. I think we've had nearly 22,000, which is pretty crazy. And actually, speaking of Costa Zoo, look who's joined the chat. Glenn Ings. G'day, Glenn. Thanks for taking the time to come, mate. Love what you're doing with the boys. And obviously Shannon as well. Can't wait to see what happens with her. I did say before that you've got some news, I think, dropping pretty soon. So I'm sure you'll let us know what's going on there. We're all waited with bated breath to see what's happening. And she's in the best hands possible with you, Glenn. So thanks for taking the time. What have we got there? So thanks, Andrew, the comment there. Really appreciate that. Shows are great. Thanks very much, mate. Really appreciate you coming on and saying that, because look, I didn't actually realize that when we actually started these shows, the amount of time it takes to actually do the shows and the planning and everything that goes into it, but also the time it takes to build the audience. And you see a lot of shows and you look at them, they've got thousands of people that actually watch the shows. I didn't realize that it took a long time, and they've been around for years. We've been around about 7 or 8 months now. We are growing. And we've got, what's really good about it, we've got a lot of different audience for different programs. The Dream Fights, strangely enough, our international audience, I think 80% of our viewers that watch those videos are from overseas. A lot of Filipinos, because we've done a few times. Must be a lot of Russians and Aussies on there as well, because I think we've done Costa 3 times, I think. But as I said, the fight of him and Manny Pacquiao has had nearly 22,000 views and climbing, so that's really good. We had another one. I think it was might have been actually Costa again against Oscar De La Hoya. Had a lot of views. Seems to be the common thread. Oscar, Costa, Manny all seem to be the big crowd pullers. And if there is a dream fight you'd love for us to do, then let us know, because we love doing the show. And you'll see that we have a really diverse group, all different backgrounds. We love especially having guys like Mike Altamura on. He knows the record of every single fighter alive. So there's no arguing with him. He knows his stuff. And he was actually going to try and come on tonight. So I'm not sure what happened there. But yeah, if there's any dream fights you'd like to see, make sure you let us know. We do take requests, and we love doing those shows as well. So the classic fights probably been a little bit more of a slow burn. If you're not sure what happens with the classic fight, we do pick a fight from yesteryear and we show highlights. We go over what made the fight a great fight, and discuss all different things at the lead up to it, some facts that you might not know about. And again, if you've got some ideas of that, bring it on. One thing that I did joke about it last week, we had the Jeff Fenic Azuma Nelson one we did a couple of months ago, where we had Jeff on the show, and how good was that to actually have him? We did the first fight in Vegas, and Jeff came on and actually commented on the show as we went. Love to do another one of those. I'm really looking at maybe the Jeff Horn Manny Pacquiao fight. I'm going to reach out to Jeff and see if he'll come on and actually do the show and actually be our special guest to go over that, because that was one of those fights, like the Nelson Fenic fight was, that it was just unforgettable for so many different reasons. And if you're at the fight or even watching on TV, the drama that was part of that fight. Of course, there was the lead up to it. I've commented on the show a few different times. The lead up to it in the hotel for the week, I spent the whole week pretty much at the hotel where everyone was staying. We couldn't get a room in the hotel. We had to be down the road somewhere. But I pretty much spent all day, every day in the lobby talking boxing all day, every day. What have we got there? Paul Haraba, thanks for your comment. Paul, great work, Lynden, all things boxing, promoting sport, positive step here for Australia. Cheers. Thanks very much, mate. Really appreciate you commenting. By all means, come on at some stage and tell me how great we are. That'll be even better. I'm only joking, mate. But yeah, thanks, Paul. Really appreciate your comments. Make sure you keep the comments coming. As I said, requests or whatever you've got there. Great panel, says Andrew. Love hearing takes from all of you. Fenic show was great. Thanks very much, mate. I think that's had over 1,000 views. I know that's not a lot in the scheme of things, but with a little channel like ours, which is growing all the time, it was really good. So as I said, I really want to try and get Jeff Horn on to do that. Maybe Fox Sports are probably focusing on Jeff next. Maybe they'll steal our thunder, but I did speak about it last week and joke that they did steal our idea, but I know that's not the case. They probably had it in the wings anyway. What do we got there? Eddie, what do we got there? Yes, good call. Well, Eddie's the city. When you're in New York in June, you should consider an hour podcast live from the Boxing Hall of Fame. Yes, I was thinking about that. I've just bought a brand new camera that I'm actually going to take over with me. And I'm going to do, obviously, reporting back here all the time, but I will do some a live podcast. All that, obviously, with the time difference, might not work all the time. But yes, Eddie, I will do one. I'll especially do one in New York as well. If you're there, it'd be great to catch up. And I will be doing lots of live stuff over there and also some pre-recorded things as well. But the whole aim for the Boxing Hall of Fame, if you don't know the way it works, I actually went when was it? 2014, I think I went to the Hall of Fame. And if you haven't been there and you're a boxing fan, put it on the bucket list. I know we all want to go to the big fights and all that sort of stuff. But if you haven't been there, I, again, implore you to go to the Boxing Hall of Fame, because it's a small little house that you go into, or it's the size of a house. That's the Hall of Fame. Out the back is a pavilion, and where they do the induction, and it is just packed or jam-packed full of boxing, and is really a sight to see. Sorry, Eddie. Yes, Eddie, I can't wait to catch up, mate. So it says here, can send me a roster. Yeah, that would be awesome, mate. And I did say last week as well, if you didn't see it, that this is, again, a once-in-a-lifetime thing, because we've got, I think, 12 inductees. Normally it's about 4. We've got 12 men and women, officials, everything there. So I just couldn't miss it. I had the choice of maybe going to that one or maybe the Canelo fight a month earlier, and I really had to pick that. I would have, in a perfect world, would love to have gone to see Tim Tszyu fight and back it up with the Mighty fights, but time out there, so I made a conscious decision to go to the International Boxing Hall of Fame, because, as I said, I'll never get a chance to see this type ever again, unless there's another pandemic. There's all these different variants, of course, so who knows? But yeah, that's why I'm going. So if you are going, make sure you let me know. It'd be good to catch up. But what do we got there? Oh, Eddie, what do we got here? The International Women's Boxing Hall of Fame is coming along nicely. Okay, 8th induction in Vegas in October. Okay, I didn't know that, Eddie. So thanks very much for that. So if you are a fan of the women's boxing and is growing all the time, make sure you check that out. That's really good to know. So I'm not sure what exact date in October it is there, Eddie. I'm sure you'll let us know. But International Women's Boxing Hall of Fame. And what's good about actually the one that I'm going to in June, I think Layla Ali's being inducted, Holly Holmes being inducted, and I haven't got the other list at the moment. I think there were 4 or 5 women being inducted. So that shows you how far women's boxing has come. So it's great to know, Eddie. So thanks very much for that, mate. So really looking forward to seeing that. I must admit, I've been a bit of a fan of Holly Holmes since she knocked out Ronda Rousey. I still am a big fan of Ronda, but the way she went about that fight in Melbourne, UFC, whatever it was, yeah, I really like the way she goes about it. And a lot of people didn't know that she actually started as a boxer. I think she was a world champion as a boxer as well. So looking forward to that one. The roster, I think, with the international one off the top of my head, the one in Canastota, is Floyd Mayweather, Roy Jones Jr., I think Bernard Hopkins, Shane Mosley, Miguel Cotto, Juan Manuel Marquez, one of the Klitschko's. So that's to name a few. So you can understand where I'm coming from, that I just had to be there. So if you want to come, I'm going on the 1st of June. I'll be in New York for 4 days, and then up in Canastota for another 4 days after that. The other thing we are looking to do in September is go over for the probably the Canelo Triple G fight. However, that has a big asterisk, because if Tim Tszyu fights in the States again later this year, I'll definitely be at that one. I'm not sure, Glenn, if you're still on, you could maybe nudge, wink, wink, give us a bit of a heads up at what's next for Tim. But if Tim fights, I'm assuming he'll fight again before he gets his undisputed shot. I did see that Tony Harrison has been talking over the weekend. I don't think that fight's going to happen. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But I doubt that's a risk worth taking when we've never got the shot at the world title. It's only a matter of time. I would expect him to maybe have 1, if not 2, maybe tune-ups before then. But I wouldn't expect him to take on a Tony Harrison. Having said that, though, Tim. No shortcut for Tim, as he's shown that the whole way. I got no doubt he'd probably say, it's Tom, what's his name? Tony Harrison. Yeah, it's Tony Harrison. Bring him on, but we'll see. Thanks, Eddie. It is October 22 at the Orleans Hotel and Casino. So make sure you check the link out there. If you're over there at that time, that would be awesome. So thank you, Eddie, for letting us know. And I'll be sure to give that more of a mention on our other show as well as this channel as well. So thanks again, mate. And thanks again, Eddie. I must say, you've just managed to give me some talking points for about the last 20 minutes, which is good, because I'm not having much luck on getting people on at the moment. I had a couple of people saying they can't connect for some reason. So I'm not sure what's going on. But so there it is. So we're almost at the end of the show. Make sure you look out for our Thursday night show, which comes out Friday morning. Next week, this show will be on Tuesday night. I'm really hoping to get some guests on to talk about Zarafa and Hardman. I think that's going to be massive. We need more of these fights. I'm really glad that the two boys have put Australian boxing ahead of probably some other self-interest. They probably could have taken easier fights. What do we got there, Andrew? Is there a site you recommend for upcoming fights? The calendar, just BoxRec's probably the best one, mate. Just go to BoxRec, check out schedule, type in, put in Australia or whatever country you want to go to. I'll keep you updated as well, but yeah, go to BoxRec, and I might, if go to schedule here, and I might see if I can actually put in the site for you to go to. Copy, and I'll paste this as well. I'm not sure whether this will work, but we'll see. There's BoxRec for the Aussie scene. I'm not sure whether that Eddie, been up since showered and ready for school. Hey, I wish my kids were like that, mate. I've got to drag them out 5 minutes before they're supposed to leave. So all the best to you too, Eddie. Thank you. Sending love to you, Tara, and the boys. Same to you, mate. Really miss you. I haven't seen you in what seems like an eternity, but if we can get together in June, that would be absolutely awesome. And anyone else that wants to, while I'm over there, and of course the one downside to it all is that I'm going to miss the Cambosis Haney fight. But I'll be watching in New York. If you are from New York or you've been to New York and you know a really good sports bar near Ground Zero is where I'm staying, just near Ground Zero, of course, let me know because I'll be looking out for a good sports bar to go to watch the fight. I'm not sure whether it'll be readily available. Yeah, all good, Eddie. That'd be great, mate. So look, we've got 5 minutes to go. Anything else you guys want to talk about, make sure you send me a comment. As I said, with the other shows, I really appreciate everyone's help. What do we got there, Andrew? Okay, must have clicked no instead of yes for camera. All good, mate. Well, hey, Andrew, I've got to say I really appreciate you trying to get on. You tried about 20 times to come on and can't seem to get it work. But I rest assured, mate, it does work. You've seen Tara got on before to say a quick hello. It does work. So you just got to be on Safari. These things a little bit temperamental at times. I'm really hoping actually that the Facebook one's working because they barred me last week and I didn't even say anything. I had a test screening during the day to make sure it'd work. And it didn't work. I was barred. And I had to spend me a week trying to get my page back because they barred me. I literally didn't say a word. So I'm not sure what happened there. Paul, what do you got there, mate? Who is your pick on Zerafa and Hardman? Good question. I haven't actually said it yet. I don't really know. I think if all goes according to the script, I think skill-wise, Michael Zerafa has it over Isaac. I think he's got a lot more experience, probably a lot more boxing IQ. Hardman has a fighting IQ because he's been in MMA. But I think if it comes down to a matter of boxing skills, I think Zerafa. But I've just got this feeling Hardman, he just has this ability just to land that right hand. He just lands that punch. Whether Michael's smart enough to get out the way of it, I don't know. I hope he doesn't bar me again for saying this, for a little bit of critique there. But I think, as I said, if it goes down to just basic skills versus skills and the fight goes the way it should, I think Zerafa gets the points decision. But I have got this sneaky suspicion that at some stage Hardman's going to land the right hand. And if he lands that right hand, I don't think I've seen a better finisher in Australian boxing than Isaac Hardman. If he gets you finished, then if he gets you hurt, then it is over. And take it from me, I've seen it firsthand many times. So yeah, so I'm not quite sure. So I hope I've answered your question there, Paul. I'm going to go with I've said the keys to victory. I haven't actually said who I think will win. If you're going to put me on the spot, I think Hardman in a stoppage. So if Michael hadn't returned my calls before this, I think that's now a positive that I'm not on the Christmas card list anymore. That I think Hardman might land that right hand and get the stoppage at some stage. But who knows? And that's what's great about Aussie boxing. I love both of these guys. So, Michael, if you see this, please don't think, I'm having a crack at you here. I'm not on the bandwagon. I am. I think you've been really good for Australian boxing, but just my pick will be the head spur for me. So we'll see what happens. So anyway, guys, so that's about it. Anything else you'd like to talk about, let me know. Better yet, next week, make sure you come on. I'll put the link on again. I'd really like to have some feedback here. The viewership's slowly going up. We're getting a few views, which is good, but it's more so after the fact. I'm not quite sure whether it's the time slot might not work as well. I've had a lot of guys say that they're not home from the gym at that stage. So people in the industry, be it trainers or fighters. So let me know if the time's not really suitable. But as it stands, next Tuesday we'll be on. Obviously next Monday's Easter Monday, so we will be on Tuesday night. We might make it at 7:30 next week to give people a bit more chance to come on. And let's talk Hardman Zerafa. I want to hear your points of view, your predictions. As I said, feel free to leave a comment, but better yet, come on and have to say, I'm going to have Mike and Peter and Tassie on at different stages during it next week, whether they like it or not. They're coming on, and I've got a few other guys that we might get on as well. I'm hoping maybe the Maloney boys might be back next week, so maybe they'll come on. Shannon, a few others will get on as well. Paul, the last comment here. Wow, that's big, especially having done the biggest right hand you've seen. Yeah, fully respect that, Paul. Your thoughts? And as I said, it would not surprise me if Michael wins by points. I don't see him stopping Isaac. Then again, I didn't think he'd stop Jeff Horn either. But look, you asked, I gave you my opinion. I might have lost a few viewers because of it. Michael's a Rafa fans, and I am a fan of Michael, but it is what it is. But what else you got there, mate? So that's, yeah. So, yeah, no, fully respect that, Paul. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Zarafa wins, but the main thing is it's a win for Aussie boxing. There needs to be more of it. It just seems like every week there's big fight night time, which is awesome. So Tasman fighters doing this week. The week after is obviously Sam LaBruna. Won't be on Fox, but it'll be on the stream. I will give you the link next Tuesday night that we're on for you to log on and check that out. And I think the week after that, it just seems like every week there's fights on. I haven't got it in front of me again, but I'll go over it again. Cheers to you too, Paul. Really appreciate you being on, mate. Hope all well down in the Bull, in Warrnambool, and see you doing great things as well with your training. I see you've opened a gym or a training academy or something down there. So good luck to you, mate, and all the best to everyone down in Warrnambool. So thanks to Paul, thanks to Andrew, thanks also to Glenn Jennings who cameo hello to us. Really appreciate you coming on there, mate, and saying g'day. Maybe you'll come on at some stage and have a chat as well. So until next week, as I said, next Tuesday night from 7:30, tune in. Come on, have your say, and would love to discuss, debate, whatever it might be when it comes to the world of boxing. So thanks again, and we'll talk to you next week.